Denver
There it is.
next week.
There it is.
So
Jeez. We're,
Russ isn't even gonna get his revenge game.
His revenge. That would be mean to do after last year when, what was it, the Seahawks dismantled Denver week one.
Oh, right, right.
dang.
Oh,
We're back up and running, by the way.
cool. Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill, I wish they would have held the body cam footage long enough because it must have been they got him in the car and called it in, and they're like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? The game is in 2 hours.
Yeah,
Are you insane?"
like the city is gonna hate us.
Oh, dude. I mean, it, the fact that like he got out that fast, the fact that they released the body cam footage a day later, like they're setting up that cop to just be crucified. I
Yeah.
mean, the police departments would be like, "We don't know this guy. We never liked this guy. Tyreek Hill, we love you." I
Well,
mean,
the Dolphins released a statement last night, and it was basically like hoping for the worst for those cops is like kind of the message they portrayed.
damn.
Ooh.
I think the
Yeah.
cops must have been playing against him in fantasy or something. Like, hey,
Wow. Yeah.
Joey's got this kind of team to paint him.
They bet the unders.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Dude, I don't know, man. That is a bad look. God dang. And they roughed him up too, man. I was kind of hoping, that like he'd like sidestep and like just start running.
Yeah.
It
No,
it
no,
would
no.
be it'd be the best. I mean, I would not want the man to get shot. That's what would have
Yeah.
happened. But to
Yeah.
see him pull away and accelerate,
Oh, yeah.
the cops on like step five were like, "Oh my God, that guy is really fast."
Well, he went into the game and he caught a massive touchdown. He like outran. It was like a 70-yard touchdown. He outran the whole defense. And then his touchdown celebration was he put his hands behind the back, and then Jalen Waddle came up and was like pretending to cuff him. Was his touchdown celebration?
Wait, so
He
he got to the game and was able to play?
Yeah,
he
he
scored
went
an
off.
80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, he like went off.
Yeah.
And then when he scored, his celebration was pretending to get arrested.
That's awesome.
Tyreek Hill has to be one of the funniest dudes that's ever existed in the NFL. I mean, when he got fined for doing the deuces,
Hmm.
and then the next week he has the gloves printed with the deuces on it so he can just put up his hand.
Hmm.
Dude, it's hilarious. The dude is like comedically talented. He's questionable character,
Yeah,
but man, he really didn't deserve that on Sunday. I'm glad he did go off.
yeah, yeah. It was wild, wild week one.
Wild week one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. To follow the show, go to kitcaster.com/Denver and subscribe on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. You can also submit any kind of events you have coming up. We had somebody that actually reached out to us this week. Terry, I am going to reply. We'll get your guest on for an interview. We have another restaurateur. I'm excited about that. So we got two of those coming up. Our music is by Troy Higgins, and our sponsor, of course, is Kitcaster. So let's dive into events. Tom, what you got, buddy?
I have a couple things here. Let me pull up my list. All right, so let's start with Fred Again this week. It's Big Fred Again week in Denver. 2 nights sold out at Ball Arena.
Damn.
Big guy these days, that Fred Again. I actually lucked out and got some exclusive tickets last night to go see Fred Again at the Mishawaka, which is a small 1,000 person venue. He
Wow.
announced the show on Saturday. Ticket sale happened Sunday, and the show was last night, and it was pretty sick.
That's
Oh man, yeah, man. Everything, all the respect to Red Rocks, but dude, Mishawaka might be Colorado's best venue.
The
It's
Mishawaka
so
is
sick.
something special in there for sure.
Troy,
Um,
it's like it's in this valley outside of Fort Collins, and like it's right on the river. It's a magical place for sure.
Now it's an outdoor venue.
Yeah.
yeah, you can literally step down to the river if if you're there. I mean, they had people trying to like sneak in off the river and stuff, off some rafts and everything, so security
Oh,
was pretty tight. But no, people were definitely rafting by and like anchoring up, to hear the music and everything. There's people hiking up above on the canyon that you could see. It ended up being like a 1 hour rain delay last night, but no, it was something really special. I mean, you think about, just getting to see Fred again at a 1,000 person venue like that, really small place compared to 2 sold out nights at Ball Arena tomorrow and Thursday we got. So, Fred again, Ball Arena tomorrow and Thursday. If you're looking at
the stage looks so small,
Mishawaka,
so
It's a
intimate.
little place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
it's tiny. And also we got there, my friend Ellie was actually lucky enough to score us a parking pass. So this is a venue where 90% of the people are getting shuttled in from Fort Collins. So like you go for this event, pickup was at CSU, I think Moby Arena parking lot or something like that. But you got to go park down there, and then they got shuttle buses just driving everybody up there because there's no parking. You're literally in a river basin, like a canyon. But
2-lane highway. Good luck getting out.
yeah,
Wow.
we got right out actually, but
That's-
if you're on the shuttle bus, you're waiting for a while to get out.
It's wild. I mean, Fred again, he sells out stadiums, so it's like pretty wild to play at a 1,000 person venue.
Yeah, it seems like on this tour he's going to be looking for small spots to do that. This was like the first show of the tour, actually.
Oh wow.
Cool.
He's like the biggest artist in dance music right now. Like I don't think anyone could fill up a stadium like as easy as he can.
No,
and-
yeah, he could instantly fill up a stadium. That's for sure. It's kind of insane.
Like you could throw like Skrillex, Peggy Goo, Chris Lake on a lineup, and Fred again would like bring more people than all 3 of them combined.
Yeah. But no, it was really great, and it's nice there because they actually have a restaurant. So like, we got there right when doors opened at 6 p.m. We sat down at the restaurant, had a nice hour-and-a-half dinner. The food was amazing. The prices were reasonable, and drinks, whatever we were doing, and then walked out for set time at like 8 p.m. and just like single lightning bolt, boom. It popped the speakers, a lightning bolt, and like you heard the whole system just, and we're like, oh shit.
Oh way.
Shit.
And they instantly turned everything off in the whole venue, like the entire stage. They turned it all off, and then it was like, all right, we're gonna have to rain delay this. It never really rained too hard, but the lightning was all around, and you had some sprinkles here and there. But they got up and running at 9:15. It was nice though because they have a huge indoor bar and restaurant, and like almost everybody just went inside there. They had all the shuttle buses outside too, that brought everyone in, and they just opened those up as like extra seating and like chill space, stay out of the rain. It worked out pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. But anyway, Fred again, the real shows are Wednesday and Thursday at Ball Arena. Wednesday, you're in the door at $40 right now for the nosebleeds, and Thursday you are in the door at $43.
That's great.
Floor for Thursday $177, floor for Wednesday $138. So
Very reasonable. What a gentleman.
yeah, I mean when they sold, I mean these tickets were going like crazy, but now it seems like the scalpers are pulling back a little bit. You're getting in the door for like 40-ish plus fees on StubHub. So floor though, that's probably going to be pretty sick there. Actually, I also like that 100 section too, like right above the floor. In a big stadium like that, you get to see the whole dance floor going crazy, but then you also get a nice view of the stage. So yeah, that's the big thing this week in Denver for dance music. Fred again week. And then let's go on to Granny Brunch. change it up a
Let's
little
go.
bit at the Denver Central Market. Oh wait, no, sorry, not Denver Central Market. The Denver Milk Market. Same type of place, but the Milk Market, for those of you who don't know, over down by, you know, Coors Field Milk Market. It's a little bit closer to Union Station actually, but the Milk Market is like a big food court underneath that nice hotel, and they have a bunch of different food vendors and stuff in there. So this event on Saturday, September 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is a Golden Gals Granny Brunch. Dress up.
What is the meaning of this event?
Dress like a granny.
Rock your favorite grandma gear, or just be a grandma, for a fun-filled Saturday featuring delicious brunch, live music, tarot card readings. I didn't know grannies were so into that. Costume contests and more. Grab your Golden Gal crew and brunch with us.
Nice.
$10
Why not?
per
I mean,
person.
$10.
$10 per person. You get a welcoming mimosa for that price and a coffee or tea. So, if you just want to dress up like a granny, then that's what you're doing this weekend.
Is this a thing? Is the grandma thing a thing?
This is why I highlighted it, because I didn't know it was a thing. I thought there was going to be like an age requirement or like proof of grandchild, but it's actually more like a costume thing. So
Fun. I get it.
Child.
I love Golden Girls. It's a fantastic show. However, they didn't really dress like grannies. They always were super fly,
yeah.
Speaking of Miami-Dade, they were always really freshly dipped.
Who knows? I mean, they got great food at the Milk Market. So if you're thinking of brunch either way, I'm excited for the people who are just planning on going to brunch there and they don't know that this is happening.
They're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
One guy had an edible before brunch, and he's just like, why is everyone? He's like,
what is this?
You guys seeing this? That's funny.
Who knows? Maybe there's some real serious demand out here for this.
I guess that there must be.
There must be.
All right, I'm gonna move on down to the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Let's go.
You're not getting in the building for cheaper than a Fred Again ticket for this thing. Part of the reason being is that the contract for the Rocky Mountain Showdown at Empower Mile High Stadium is up, and they did not renew it. So this Rocky Mountain Showdown is up in Fort Collins at the new CSU Stadium that was finished back in 2017 season. So tickets are tight.
216 for nosebleeds, it looks like.
216.
Yeah.
We're looking at. Oh yeah, here I got the juice to share with everyone. Oh, never mind. Broke down. Anyway, 216 to get in the building for Rocky Mountain Showdown. I think they have some sort of like package deal. If you're a CSU fan, you can get like 3 or 4 tickets for like $300, and then that that gets you this ticket. So look into that if you're seriously considering the Rocky Mountain Showdown. But it's always fully packed house, one of the best games of the year for sure. I mean, the student sections in these are getting crazy. I was in there way back in the day, but that was out at Broncos Stadium. But yeah, I can't believe that they aren't doing it there anymore. I guess, the two schools can probably make some more money by hosting it at their own stadiums. Maybe that's part of the reason. But
yeah,
maybe
Tom,
maybe the contract was favoring the field rather than the schools, so that could be a reason.
Broncos also have a home game week 2, so that could have been conflicting as well.
Did CSU have a bye last week, Tom? Because they got smoked by Texas, and I don't know if they played last week.
I don't know.
Not sure. Well, I think this might be CSU's year. I think they have a solid shot. The Buffaloes looked very, very bad last Saturday. They Shador in the post game was complaining about the line. The line has like no respect for Shador. There's some major internal drama going on that played out on the field on Saturday. I think it might be CSU this year.
It looks like CSU has done pretty well for them. So, oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, so last season they were doing all right. They did play Texas on Saturday, August 31st, and got absolutely destroyed.
Oh, yeah, they played UNC. I'm sorry.
They
played
played
University of
UNC
Northern
on
Colorado.
Saturday, and they beat
Yeah.
them pretty
They beat
easily.
them. Yeah.
Looks like. But yeah, it looks like the first game of the season was a bloodbath for them. They had to play against Texas. So
The number 2 ranked country. I know. That's messed up. I don't know how much Texas paid them. I think it was like 800,000 or something.
jeez.
So that's the new thing in NCAAF is that some booty school pays a ranked team so that they could play them.
Mm-hmm.
And at least in Notre Dame's case, they beat them. What was that? Northern Illinois Technical Institute beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I saw that one, and they were like,
Awesome.
people were freaking out.
Yeah, it was so cool. So yeah, that's a hot ticket, man. That's a solid game. Both teams come for blood on that one. That's a good time right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely, this is a good game to check out if you like Colorado college football. This is the epitome of it. Rocky Mountain Showdown's been a rivalry and a tradition for I don't even know how long before my time, and it's always a good game, and it's always a good party, win or lose. So just depends if you want to go back to Boulder after or you stay in CSU. But if CSU wins, it's going to be great. If Boulder wins, it's going to be great, and vice versa. If they lose, it's all parties anyway. So Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Well, last year that CSU safety, they put down Travis Hunter for like 3 games. So there's some things that need to be worked out in this game. It should be interesting.
Well, CSU was like so close to winning last year, and then they blew it. I think in the fourth quarter, they blew a huge lead. Boulder came back, but for those people who don't want to pay $250 and drive up to Fort Collins, at Spangalang Brewery, they're going to have a watch party, all gold everything. That is starting at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. They're going to have the whole game on there. It's all anyone's going to be doing. And yeah, you wear gold because CU's got gold in their colors. CSU's got gold in their colors. So they want everyone golded out.
Nice and neutral. I like it.
Yes. Local podcast celebrity Graffiti will be in the house hosting the party. So.
Is that Troy's DJ name?
I don't know. Yeah. Is that you, Troy?
Hey, Graffiti. How did you find me out?
Premium seating and a complimentary drink if you reserve a table in advance. So, Spangalang Brewery. That's a nice place too. It's a good place to go
it's
watch
a great
game.
spot.
Yeah.
Shout to 5 Points, Spangalang. That's awesome.
Check that out. And then real quick, we'll just run through Red Rocks. Let's see who's in town. We got tonight Warren Hayes Band with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra. Colorado Symphony Orchestra was there all last weekend with Brandy Carlisle, and they're back on Tuesday with Warren Hayes Band. Warren Haynes, sorry. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 9/11 stair climb memorial event at 8 a.m. Get in there, climb some stairs, and don't forget 9/11. And then Wednesday, also Wednesday evening, after you climb the stairs, you can see Sum 41 with the Interrupters and Many Eyes. Support from those groups. But yeah, Sum 41 on the Wednesday show. Thursday, Charlie Crockett. This guy looks like he's got some style. Support from Tanya Tucker and Junior Brown. And then Friday and Saturday, the Green Sky Bluegrass Festival. All right. This is always coming through. On Friday, they got support. The headliner is going to be the California Honey Drops,
Nice.
which those guys are sick. And then Andy Frasco and the UN is on Saturday. Also Saturday, 8 a.m. if you get out. Snow Shape Winter Fitness Series is starting. Get a bunch of ski and snowboard themed workouts up at Red Rocks Saturday at 8 a.m. Sunday, Amos Lee. Indigo Girls. I don't know.
Wow. Indigo Girls. Holy cow.
What's that all about? I don't know Amos Lee at all.
Neither do I.
I don't know. I don't know them. I know Indigo Girls, of course. They're kind of like folk rock from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know Amos Lee.
Monday, Arcade Fire.
Sick.
The Funeral 20th anniversary show.
That would be rad.
And that's it until next week. It looks like a lot of stuff going on. We got an extra event on Wednesday, got an extra event on Saturday. Red Rocks season, that this fall season at Red Rocks is where it gets pretty stacked up. So
Totally. No bass though, huh? I guess nobody wants to compete with Fred.
I was looking and I don't think there's even any other dance events this week. Hold on. I mean,
It looks like they got Louis the Child next week. That'll be like
yeah, Louis the Child next week, and that's sold out anyway. But yeah, it seems like during the actual week this week.
Yeah, Fred. No one's like, I'm not performing at the same time as Fred again in the same city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one will be there.
It was funny as they had online this local guy Justin J, who's pretty big too. He plays festivals and he plays bigger lineups, but just shows like his DMs from Fred on, I think, Sunday night. Yo, you still live in Denver? I'm playing a show. You want to open up at Ball Arena? And Justin J's just looking at his phone like, dude, what do I do? It's like, obviously he's going to play it, but that's just a crazy way to find out you're playing Ball Arena in 2 days.
It's Justin J. I think he's from San Diego originally.
Really nice. He's good. He's all around Denver playing after parties and back-to-backs and everything else.
Oh, nice. Cool.
The single only dance music event on Wednesday is Fred again. And then Thursday, you got a bunch of stuff, but no true big names out there on Thursday competing. Then Friday, everybody's back and playing shows.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. I got some events. I want to begin with a shout out to Heidi, my wonderful wife, who keeps us aware of Denver's civic happenings. She was the one who told us about the bike credit to get that in. I guess all the Denver bike credits, the e-bike credits, went in 20 minutes. Tom, were you able to secure one?
I was trying to see how to do it, but I couldn't figure it out.
Dude, that's a hot ticket right there. E-bikes. So she shared something with me from Denver Parks and Rec Instagram, which is did a little feature about Denver's blooming and fruiting trees this type of year, which I thought was lovely. So what you got the bur oak that's producing, what are they? What do oak trees? They make those little nuts. What are they? Acorns, I think.
Acorns?
They're fruiting, and you can check those out in Civic Center Park. The golden rain tree is blooming in Houston Lake Park. Catalapa is blooming in Observatory Park. The Japanese Japanese lilac tree is blooming in Cook Park. The Chinkapin oak in Washington Park, and Hackleberry in Sloan's Lake. So good time to go check out the Denver parks. It's lovely this time of year. We're looking at it's been a little bit hot, probably up in the 90s, but 80s and 90s. When you're in the parks, take a look around. It looks like the trees are blooming. Okay, I've got a couple of free events this week in Denver. We've got free day at the Art Museum, which is awesome, especially for kids. If you don't have kids, this might not be for you because there are a lot of strollers, and that those strollers kind of bump into your knees and whatever. It's packed. But that's today at 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Denver Art Museum. You can go check that out. We also have today at other Jeff's Cultural Center on 28th and Welton over in Tom's neighborhood, the Denver Debate Watch Party. So we have in one corner Donald J. Trump, and in the other Kamala Harris about to square up tonight.
Watch
You guys
party.
looking forward to that or what?
I'll be tuning in. I'll be tuning in.
Yeah.
That is
too.
right in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's right there. Now, it should be known that, like, if you're going to Brother Jeff's Cultural Center, this is a Democratic establishment. So if you're a supporter of Donald Trump, it probably is not a great place for you to go. You would just stir up some trouble. But if you want to get down with the Democrats, go down there. You can I don't know. What do you do at a watch party? You just go like, oh,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Come on. That's ridiculous.
No new taxes. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That must be
I'll
exciting.
be tuning in for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Donald Trump, say what you will about the guy, but man, he makes a debate interesting.
Yeah, this is must-watch television here. Premium American entertainment at its best.
Totally, man. This is like the Super Bowl of politics right here. It goes down. So yeah, that's going down tonight. If you want to check that out, 22nd annual Soul Rebel Festival is at the Levitt Pavilion. It's basically reggae festival. You got Black Uru and the Meditations with Harry Moe and the crew. That is on Saturday, 7 p.m. Doors are at 6. I've been to this before, the Soul Rebel Festival. It is so nice, man. I mean, we can't sing Levitt's praises enough, but you bring a couple of chairs, you bring your blanket, and you just chill. I absolutely love that spot. So cool. We also have the African Designers Trunk Show, which is Sunday, September 15th at the Clayton, which is 233 Clayton. African Creators Festival culinary event, runs all week with ticketed activities, culminates with the designer trunk show at the Claytons. So this is probably piggybacks on what we were talking about last week, which was the Daishiki Festival. So now this would probably bring it to more contemporary African styles, if you feel so inclined to get freshly dipped there. And then just a little reminder, next week is Denver Startup Week, the biggest free startup event in the world. It happens in Denver for a week every year. There are just dozens and dozens and dozens of events that you can sign up for. The big keynotes and the big events fill up quick. So you definitely want to go to the website, and then you can kind of fill out an RSVP the agenda, and definitely check out some events. I've had massive takeaways every time I've been down there for that. So stoked for that. All right. Let's go into our feature. Today our feature is Denver neighborhoods, and we're gonna be talking about RiNo. It's a place that we spend a lot of time talking about because there's always good stuff going on. It's also where Tom happens to live now. So let's just give a couple of highlights, and I think probably some old friends will pop up here about RiNo and places we like to go. Tom, why don't you kick it off, buddy?
Of course, I would be happy to. Let's move into the RiNo neighborhood. I got a couple different things. I tried to get something for everybody. Different types of bars, different types of restaurants, but let's just start off. Go-to spot for dance music in RiNo is Beacon. I took Troy over there. It's just good for house. If you want house any day of the week, unless it's the night that you take Troy there and then it's bass somehow, and that always happens every once in a while. So yeah, what was that, like a Wednesday or Thursday night, just bass show?
Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night bass. Who knows? But yeah, that's Beacon. Typically going to be house music and tech house, bass house, dancey vibes there going on. Especially on a weekend night, it's always going to be packed out and good people, good vibes in there. The owners of that, shout out to Beacon owners. Those guys they got something going on. They just opened a new location, literally like 50 yards away from Beacon on Larimer. And that is called Mockingbird. And this is more of a even more of an immersive art experience type atmosphere, and a lot more performance art going on there. I think when they opened up, they had some contortionists. They always are having like dancers, like ribbon performers, and the music energy there is a little bit lower energy, a little bit more minimal type house music, a little bit more loungy, chill type stuff. Very burner-esque over there at Mockingbird, but it is definitely a spot to check out, especially if you want to just go chill in a nice lounge type setting and have some drinks before it gets a little bit more dancey later on at night. So that is definitely a cool spot to check out. If you are not in the dance music crowd, another place that we took Troy to after we all went out and had some tacos is Pon Pon in the RiNo area. Another top spot.
I was a big fan of Pon Pon. That place was really cool. Just kind of like very chill, mellow, kind of dive bar vibes. I liked it in there quite a bit.
Yeah, everyone in there looks like they're from like a 70s, 80s rock band. Everyone who works there, like you have to look like that in order to get a job.
That's funny.
But no, it's a cool place. It kind of a dive bar. It's definitely a dive bar, but it's more of like a retro, like modern vintage dive bar. So
Yeah,
that makes sense.
a good way to describe it. I think pretty spot on.
Yeah, exactly. And then real quick shout out to Pon Pon's neighbor, Stowaway Kitchen. If you don't want to party and you just want to get breakfast or lunch or brunch, because that's all they're open for, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursdays through Monday, Stowaway Kitchen is just high quality, fresh ingredients, just amazing food. So it's a place I would definitely recommend for a bruncher in the RiNo area. No sort of bottomless type stuff. It's a standard type restaurant, but they are serving breakfast and lunch. Next up, if you want some nice pastas, fresh made pasta, this is a great place to do it without breaking the bank or going to like a, full on traditional classic Italian place. You can go to Dio Mio, which is up a little bit further on Larimer Street. Dio Mio has really great pasta dish selections and a couple different things. Nice wines there too. Italian themed, but this is not like your traditional Italian restaurant. You don't have a server. You go up and you're ordering at the register, I guess. You're ordering up front, and then you go sit down and they'll bring you your stuff. But still very good stuff. I'm definitely a Italian food enthusiast, so I will vouch that they got some good dishes in there at Dio Mio.
This looks so good. Wow.
It's really good. It's insanely good. It's just a nice place, especially it's a good date spot. You don't have to like go full on. We're having a nice Italian sit down dinner. Like maybe that might be a little bit too, this is a little too forward, a little too fancy for like a first date. But Dio Mio, on the other hand, it's like you're almost like cheating because you get to take the date on a nice spot, or you get to have the pasta and the wine, but you're not like in that romantic Italian restaurant, dimly lit environment. You're at like obviously there's nice ambiance in there, but it's not like there's a difference.
It's not over the top.
Exactly. But you can
do
still
too much on the first date.
You could still wine and dine with some fresh pasta. So
prices aren't too bad.
It's not, I'd say it's maybe just a little step above standard, but
yeah,
it's good.
Step above Olive Garden.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt on that. And then I'm going to go to Major Tom, Denver, also on Larimer Street. Major Tom is just, again, absolutely amazing. This is definitely a step above Dio Mio. It's just absolutely exceptional food, and they are doing you can get breakfast, lunch, or dinner there, if I'm not mistaken. I've definitely been there for a brunch before. But the creators of Major Tom, right next door to Major Tom actually also is Beckin, which just won one of the very first Michelin stars for Denver. So Denver just got added to the Michelin catalog. And the Major Tom team also behind Beckin, which is the much more fancy kind of like fine dining experience that they offer. That those two places are right down there, right by Beacon. So definitely check them out. Major Tom is like, you're trying to have a nice meal, but you're not trying to go crazy. And then Beckin's like Michelin star dining. So check those out if that's the type of thing you're into. And then earlier we talked about brunch at Denver Central Market, but you can't go wrong. Oh, Ryan, I see you have that there. You can say some words about Denver Central Market, but just a great place to bring whoever when you're not sure what people want to eat.
Totally agree. Yeah, Denver Central Market is amazing. I was going to start with like a quick history of RiNo. It's Denver, so we don't have a long history here, but RiNo really is a made-up word by real estate agents for the neighborhood that was just west of 5 Points in the Curtis Park neighborhoods. Now, in the 19th century, the late 1880s, this is like begins to be the cultural hub for African-American community in Denver. So this is where all the jazz clubs were. Like when you have Mingus coming from the West Coast to the East Coast, or you got Miles Davis coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, they had to stop in Denver because everybody has to pause at those mountains and be like, how are we going to get over that? So they came to Curtis Park and 5 Points. Well, during that time, RiNo was an industrial neighborhood that had factories and rail yards and warehouses. Basically, as the industrial era picks up pace, this is where it's centered in Denver. And so it's kind of thriving until the mid 1900s, in which case, the industrialization of every city really becomes to decline as we kind of specialize in certain places in the country. So by the time it's like 80s and 90s, and particularly in the 90s when I'm coming up, I graduated in 96. So when I was in high school, you could go down during the day to the RiNo neighborhood and definitely get shot. That was a good place to buy crack or sell crack, probably. But at night, that's where like you had all the fabs and all the raves, like all the underground warehouse parties that made the 90s so much fun were all down there. So, and it was, nobody ever went down there because it was dangerous and super dicey, but you find yourself into some back alley, into some warehouse that's dilapidated and falling apart with extension cords on there, and you have the night of your life, and it kind of stayed that way until the 2000s. Then it was designated the RiNo Arts District, I think in 2004 or 2005. And so the creatives are starting to move in. Now, the creatives are great pioneers in all neighborhoods because they start to develop cool things. Like they turn those warehouses into art galleries, or they turn them into like different creative co-ops and stuff like that. But they're not the true pioneers. The true pioneers in bringing around a neighborhood that is in despair are always gay bars. So like if you find a spot that's kind of run down and it's got a couple of like thriving gay bars, particularly there's a great one. I think it's actually been demolished now in RiNo, but it was a bear bar. It's for gay dudes that are very large and hairy. And this is the spot where they hung out. But if you see that, buy that property because they're the pioneers of what's to come. And RiNo now, we're looking 20 years later, and it's like, an unbelievably thriving, some might say gentrified neighborhood, but it's wonderful. So you have the gay bars come in, then the creative district comes in. And then right about this time is when I start officing in RiNo. This is probably about 15 years ago. So you have, the big next development, at least for RiNo, was weed was legalized. We have Amendment 64 and weed's legalized. Now these warehouses that we're doing microbrews, Now there's a large demand for in-house or inside grows. And so like that in all of Larimer is stacked. I mean, stacked with people growing weed. I should say cannabis. I don't want to use a vulgar
Mhm.
pejorative. So
Cannabis.
cannabis, you walk down Larimer now, things are cleaned up. Doesn't feel stabby. Crack is come and gone. You feel good about it. And you cannot escape the pungent aroma of like a dank sativa or indica walking down Larimer. Now you start to see the murals coming up. Now you start to see really this creative influence that really started on kind of the street level. You know, this wasn't your institutional art. You know, these are like scroungy artists, kind of like your more Meow Wolf type artists that are like doing cool stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And from there, you have kind of a steady progression of now you have small businesses, then you have creative agencies that are moving in, moving towards a point, probably this was 10 years ago, where there's a coffee shop called Ink Coffee. And Ink Coffee had a kind of a edgy advertising agency that was working with them. And so they put up one of those trifolds, you know, a little trifold in front of the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, Ink Coffee, proudly gentrifying RiNo since 2010.
That's
That
hilarious.
was the wrong thing to put.
Oh
Wow.
man.
That was the wrong thing to put, because what happens is as like the economic incentives rise in these neighborhoods, RiNo's one of them, then you have people that are being displaced, the old people that lived in the neighborhood that feel a certain kind of way. On one hand, it's like, wow, this is great. We have new opportunities here. On the other hand, it's like, dude, don't pinch me. You know, don't make me feel bad about this. And so Ink Coffee put that out, and it was unbelievable. This is probably early Yelp days, early Google review. They were doing like community protests
Wow.
Wow.
that were broadcast on TV about like Ink Coffee needs to come down. They graffitied the whole place, you know, and just sunk it online.
Wow.
Oddly enough, yeah, Ink Coffee holds on, and they stayed. They might still be open for all I know. They stayed open, and people would like slink in there and like look over their shoulder. I just want some coffee. Is it cool?
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so RiNo had a little bit of contention as far as gentrification goes. At that time, I was like, you know what? It doesn't feel gentrified. This feels like this is a thriving artistic community. Then they opened a Panera, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
well,
we're
that's a
done. That's
Panera.
it's always
yeah. So
wild.
now oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's always wild to see the evolution of a neighborhood or a certain part of town. Just oftentimes it can be in just like such a short span of time. Like this, like what you just described sounds like it was what, 2 decades, maybe a little longer
Yeah.
from point A to point B. It's just wild how things change like that.
Yeah, now there's the World Trade Center down there. There's these gigantic, brand new, beautiful crystalline skyscrapers with, you know, luxury hotels. It's incredible. It's completely different, you know. But a part of me, I mean, I remember when they're knocking down that Bear Bar, and I was like, well, there goes the neighborhood, you know. It's all over. Time to find a new neighborhood. But I think it holds its balance very well. So now you have this wonderful mix of all the places that Tom talked about: independent restaurants, independent nightclubs. You have some corporate interests. You can go to Steak Shake, or what is it? Steak Shack. What's that spot?
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. They got a Shake Shack down there, and who doesn't like Shake Shack? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's cool, and they've been actually, I feel like, done a very good job. There's a neighborhood community that has kind of talked to everybody, getting everybody's interest, letting them know like, hey, your opinions matter to us of how we're developing this. We want to do it in the right way. And I really feel like they've done an excellent job. So that's just a quick rundown of the history of RiNo. I'm going to give a couple of recommendations of some of my favorite spots. So of course I got to give a shout out to Samana Float Center, which is right down there on Larimer. A great way to go spend some time in some salty water.
Mhm.
Also, big fan of Pit Fiend right across the street. I would say top 3 barbecue spots in Colorado. And depending on my meal, it might be number 1. My top 3, you got AJ's, you got Pit Fiend, and you got Post Oak. All 3 absolutely legendary Texas barbecue. Um, I'll give shout out to La Diablo while we're talking about Michelin stars. I don't think they actually got a star, but they got like a side note or something
The apron.
for their Pasoli.
Wait,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think I just went here. Is that a little bit south, like a little more towards the ballpark, but still this area?
Yep, it's across Park Ave, so it doesn't feel right. I don't think it is RiNo, but it's on Larimer.
Yeah, no, yeah. That was really good. I just went there like 2 weekends ago. Actually should have put that as a highlight. I didn't even realize, but yeah, that was fire. And when they have just real quick, they always have like a $3 oh man, what's like the most classic taco with pineapple and the pork?
Oh
I'm
yeah, yeah,
trying to remember this word the other day.
yeah. That was like last week.
Yeah.
We were just
I get it literally all the time, but sometimes when I'm trying to think of something, my brain just messes
It's
with me.
I
yeah.
think it's the Michoacan, but that's the smoking style for the pork. I know what you're talking about.
No, it's more
It's called this is just Al Pastor.
yeah,
There you
Al
go.
Pastor. They got $3 Al Pastors at any time, but then when there's a Rockies game, they set up a stand outside for only Al Pastors, and they like are pumping them out. It's crazy.
Yeah, totally. That place is absolutely amazing. They're known for their
Mhm.
pozole. They got black, they got green, they got red pozole. I
Mm.
mean, I didn't really even think twice about pozole till I was there. And then after that, I started researching recipes. I'm like, wow, this is actually really, really good. So I love that spot. They're amazing. Also, shout out to Death and Co., which is a great cocktail spot. If you're in the mood to pay $16 for a cocktail, they make it worth it. It's the
Mhm.
kind of place that was like when we officed over there in Curtis Park, if I had an hour to kill, that's the place where I'd go and just hang out for an hour, have a cocktail, strike a conversation with person next to you. There's a beautiful bar, or I'm sorry, beautiful hotel upstairs. So there's always kind of like people just hanging out with smile on their face. Great spot. And then, yeah, I wanted to shout out Denver Central Market and the Source over on Brighton Street because both of those really created kind of some community infrastructure that was important as like RiNo is coming up, which is like these marketplaces where you have different vendors, you have different food opportunities, you got like a little bodega, you got like all the necessities that someone might need for a little pop in for a meal or some toothpaste or whatever.
Yeah.
Both those places were instrumental, and now they're pretty intimately woven into that community now. So shout out to RiNo. I don't mind saying RiNo. Some people are still salty about it, the old Denverites, because really it is 5 points.
Hmm.
But I like that 5 points still holds like its own character. It might just be 2 blocks over.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot more art in Rhino, so there's a
Yeah.
clear designation of the areas. But also actually, real quick, Redeemer Pizza, fire. By the way,
Ooh, fire, no doubt.
fire Redeemer Pizza, Cart Driver Pizza, also pretty fire. Two of the only Denver pizza places that I really want to go to, so keep those in mind.
Nice. All right. Do we got time for quick highlights from last week and we'll get out of here?
I,
Do it.
I got time, yeah.
Cool. Troy, what you got? What's your highlights from last year? Or I mean last week, sorry.
Last year. Yeah, last week, obviously NFL starting. Like I said, that deep gaping hole of that void in my life has been filled. So that was awesome. Um, Went to Laguna Beach this weekend to a place called Crescent Moon Bay. Super beautiful for my girlfriend's birthday. It did happen to fall on NFL Sunday, the opening NFL Sunday, but we were able to redeem ourselves because there was great reception at the beach. So had the phone up, the sun on the beach. Great way to spend a Sunday. And yeah, yeah, just happy NFL's back. What about you guys?
I
Uh,
double that. NFL's back. The gaping hole in my life has been filled as well. Tom, how about you, buddy?
I'm, I'm counting it from yesterday, but Fred again at the Mishawaka has definitely got to be the highlight. That was just something special. So going with
So
that.
cool.
It's awesome.
Nice. Cool. Great episode, guys. Thank you to both you gentlemen. Thank you, listeners, for tuning into the show. If someone's coming into Denver, tip them to the show. See if we can point them in the right direction. Definitely check us out at kitcaster.com/Denver, where you can subscribe on all the platforms. And you can also send us a note if you have something coming up, or you're launching a company or a restaurant or whatever you got going on. We want to hear about it so we can broadcast it for you. Shout out to Kitcaster for sponsoring the show. And that is a wrap.
That is.
Have a great day, guys.
For
Have
sure.
a great day, buddy.
You
Talk
guys
soon.
have a good one.